Hi, my name is Tom de Kok. I'm the developer of the ChainScope software for supply chain optimization in real life. You just have received all the materials for the LPAT case that Eindhoven University of Technology developed together with Logixperience to provide you more insight into optimizing real-life situations. You should have now installed software with the installer provided, and you should go to the folder where you stored all the files that you received. When you open this folder, you should see some files similar to the one you see now. The important files to deal with is the lpadslim.xls file. This Excel file contains all the data of your supply chain that we will use to get acquainted with the ChainScope software. And this file, scope.exe, is the ChainScope software itself. The first thing we do now is to run the software. As you can see, this is a reminder that if you play with the ChainScope software and you run a scenario, as we call it, and you make changes, these will be immediately input into the database. This implies that if you would like to maintain data to rerun them at a later occasion, you should carefully save the data and give your scenario name before you start changing the data again. For the time being, we will not go into this further. I refer here to the ChainScope manual that you have been provided with. So we just press OK. Now you have to input your username and password. This is student in both cases, and student should be written in small case. My username and passwords are different, so I'll key in mine. Then you press the login button and you should see now the same screen as I have over here. This gives you already the first view on the ChainScope software. ChainScope works with projects, so a single user may define multiple projects and each project refers to a supply chain design or optimization exercise. These projects are managed, and in fact the management of projects includes the management of scenarios within the project. For each scenario we have defined master data, and for each scenario we can provide reporting. In fact, we will report multiple scenarios within one project if necessary. Let's get started. The first thing you should do is to import an Excel file, the one you have just seen before. So we import a scenario, which is lpadslim, and we are asked to give it a name, and so we will do so. We give it the same name, but you can put in any one you like. And it now tells us the scenario is loaded. We press OK, and we maximize this screen to see that we indeed have now a project defined. And we are given some information about, in this case, the fact that the project code is Logix and that the periods per year is 260. This is an important data because the period is in fact a time unit, and the time unit is an important thing because we will express many things in terms of time units or per time unit. So it's important that you carefully think upfront about your time unit. In this case we have assumed we have 52 weeks per year of 5 days each. If you put in 52, you probably mean that you have 52 weeks per year. Let's move on to the left side of the screen and let's look into the various parts of information. We'll do this step by step. We are in the project lpadslim and we're going to manage projects. where we will find structures and or scenarios. The structure ID LPAT Slim denotes the structure of the supply chain. In fact, it's the bill of material that determines that. We'll go into more detail later on. And here we have a scenario with the same ID that can be changed if you wanted to. And apparently an important aspect here is that we assume an interest rate of 30% on capital per year. Within each scenario there are master data. And we'll now go through them step by step. First of all, there are items. Items are in fact stock keeping units. If you look into the data that we have provided, it's in this case very simple. If you go through your LPAT case, you will find here that these are the 5 end items and stock points that have been defined in the LPAT case. So the retailers Breda region, the online stores and the retailers in Poland, Italy and United Kingdom regions. Each of them has been provided with a code, and this code is the thing we will use in ChainScope to refer to. Over here we have identified certain classes called items, item type and importance, and for each item we have given values. It's not very exciting in this case, but if you have more complicated supply chain you can use these classes and values for your reporting purposes. The next thing is to look into the bills of material. The bill of material is now empty because all of these items are just items by themselves, and we assume that there are no predecessors. In fact, we assume that if an item orders for more items to replenish its stock, then we assume it will arrive after the agreed lead time. If you play a more realistic multi-echelon supply chain, you will see here a bill of material. Customers are given over here. The customers are in this case identical to the markets that we sell to, and you have to be aware the customer is a powerful concept because each customer can take any item that has been defined over here, and it becomes then a so-called item customer combination. So basically the item customer combination is a very important data structure because we can link customers to items to indicate that these customers want these items according to some service and with a certain demand for them. If we look into the graphical representation, you see here, if we push the button draw, indeed the simplicity of the current supply chain. This is our first step in the introduction of ChainScope. In the next section we are going to talk about evaluate and optimize as the options that you can use to analyze supply chains.